All right, 5:30. Let's do yoga. And what inspired this class today is all the time I've been spending on a computer. Yoga used to get me away from my laptop, and now yoga still has me on my phone and my laptop, which is okay. It's just different. So we're going to talk about the thoracic spine, which some people are like, what is that? So we have our lumbar spine, which is the part that curves in. Yes, definitely important to listen to your bodies. And then your thoracic spine is where your back starts to curve out away from you again. And then cervical spine is basically behind your neck where it curves in again. So basically this kind of upper middle back is what we're talking about. Look, exactly where you can see on my tank top. That's what we're talking about today. So to get started, you're going to, if you have yoga blankets or beach towels, whatever, you can use them. I'm going to show you how to just tightly roll up your yoga mat a smidge. Some of you can probably, if you're kind of open in this area, or if you already did yoga this morning, like some of you, you could probably roll your yoga mat up like all the way. I'm gonna roll mine like halfway. And I'm gonna bring my shoulders right above the roll, press into my feet, and then wiggle my thoracic spine. So the blanket roll lands right about where it would be if I had like a heart rate monitor on. So just below the bottom tips of my shoulder blades. And I'm gonna do arms up overhead and let them rest. And let the yoga mat or the blanket roll do its work on my middle back. And tune into the sound of your breath. If arms up overhead is not good for you, you can absolutely do arms out to the sides or down, low, hands by your hips. I'm doing palms up also. Nowadays, it's very rare that we do anything with our arms overhead besides like yoga and maybe some shoulder presses at the gym. And take note on a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is this pose for you? And if you're at a 10, back off a little bit. If you're already getting a ton of opening right here, stay right here. If you're using a towel and you want to make it more intense, you can roll it up in your yoga mat. I'm going to roll to my side, and I'm going to roll my yoga mat up a little bit more to intensify the stretch. Let's see who else popped in. Hi, Heather. Okay. You can also straighten out the legs if it doesn't bother your low back. So yes, we're trying to mobilize the upper back. We're not doing it at the expense of causing any pain or damage in the rest of our body. And notice with the sensation where the breath is in your body. Chest, back, throat, nose. No right or wrong, just notice. A few more breaths here. If you feel yourself popping away from the mat, see if you can sink into that resistance a little bit more. Let yourself soften. And I'm going to bend my knees, roll to one side. And come back onto your back on a flat surface. Cactus your arms, so it's like you're making a goalpost. Elbows bend 90 degrees. Backs of the forearms flat on the yoga mat. Walk your feet out as wide as the yoga mat. On one breath, let your knees knock to the left. You're going to internally rotate your right thigh. And then bring the legs back up on the next breath. Internally rotate the left thigh, let the legs drop to the right. They don't have to come all the way down to the ground. And do that a few times. Maybe you match it to the breath. Notice if there's any sticky spots in hips or spine, nothing wrong with that. Just be aware of it. The next time the legs drop to the left, keep them there. If this is plenty of stretch for you, stay right here. Flare the right toes in particular. If you need a little bit more, you're going to take your left foot, place it slightly above the right knee on the right thigh. Use the right foot to stretch the right thigh down towards the short edge of your yoga mat away from you. Maybe your right arm stretches overhead. Neck is where it's comfortable. Notice any parts of the spine or the legs hitting resistance here. And resistance isn't always a negative, it's just information for your body. Gently unhook the left thigh or left foot from the right thigh. Both feet come back to the yoga mat, knees up towards the ceiling. Re-cactus your arms. And then let the knees drop over to the right. Find an active internal rotation on the left thigh. Right foot can come to the top of the left quad, and then use it to gently nudge the left thigh away from you. Root the groins down towards the yoga mat. Maybe left arm stretches overhead. If you prefer it in that cactus position, keep it there. Active feet. Gently unhook the right foot. Go ahead, bring both feet back to the yoga mat. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock on your low back. And then we're going to make our way to downward facing dog. So if you want to rock and roll forward and back to get there, do that. Or you can slide onto one side, flip yourself around. If you need to know, like I know some of us are newer to yoga, where to place hands and feet in down dog, shoulders over the wrists, heels over the balls of the feet, and then lift the hips up. Bend the knees. Press down and forward into your finger knuckles. And just a few times, rock the pelvis in both directions. So tip the sit bones up towards the ceiling, and then tuck them under, like you're tucking your tail underneath you. Just a couple times, see what you got going there. You can always do this on your knees. And then try to straighten the legs. And try to do a couple tilts. You probably won't have as much range of motion, that's okay. And then look forward. Walk your feet to your hands. Fold over the legs. Press into all 10 toes. Press into both sides of your heels. Quads pull up into the belly. Halfway lift on an inhale, so fingertips can stay on the mat, they can come to shins. Flat back. Here, broaden the collarbone, squeeze your shoulder blades together, so you're opening up across that thoracic spine. Fold. Sweep the arms all the way out, up, come to standing. Interlace all but the index fingers, so like Charlie's Angels. Feet underneath the hips, lean over to your left. Try to draw the left hip and the right shoulder back. You're side bending. Gaze is forward, or maybe it's over that right elbow. Go ahead, come to center, over to your right side. You're breathing, straightening your elbows. Pelvis is neutral, so you don't have too much of that tip one way or the other. Go ahead, come back to center. Heels up or down, arms stretch out to the sides, hinge of the hips, swan dive. Squeeze those shins in towards one another. Fold over the legs. Halfway lift on an inhale. Plant the palms, step back, down dog. Lift your right leg up behind you. Keep the hips square. You can do this with your left knee down if you prefer. Hug the leg muscles onto your leg bones. You're going to keep the right leg straight. Open up at the right hip. So you're stacking your right hip on top of your left. And then you can start to move the right heel towards your left side. Feel your right glute muscles roll open. Look forward, bring your right foot by your right thumb. Left knee down, chest up, arms up, Anjaneyasana. Interlace interlace your hands, all but the index fingers. This time do the non-habitual thumb on top. Lean over to your right side. Hug the legs in. Sink the right hip down if it wants to hike up. Go ahead and come back to center, lean to the left. You're breathing. Straighten the elbows. Should be some work. Go ahead, come back to center. Arms stretch up. Frame the front foot. Downward facing dog. You want to feel in down dog like your right hand is turning out to the right a little bit and your left hand is turning out to the left a little bit. So like you're trying to open one jar in the right hand and, or no, you're trying to close a jar in your right hand and open a jar with your left hand. Sink into the heels, hips high, left leg lifts up behind you. Start to stack the left hip on top of the right. Try to keep chest pretty parallel to the yoga mat. There is a version of the pose where it starts to open up, but really stack left hip on top of the right and try to square armpits, chest down towards the yoga mat. You might hit a little resistance here. Squeeze your left glute to help you open up. Look forward, left foot by the left thumb, chest up, arms up, Anjaneyasana. Interlace all but the index fingers. Straighten the elbows. You can almost squeeze your ears. Lean to the left. Back to center, lean to the right. Notice where you feel this most in your back. And if you feel it all in one spot, maybe try to move some of that effort to some other point in the body. If it's all in the low back, move it up. If it's all in the shoulders, move it down. Go ahead, come back to center. Separate the hands, frame the front foot. Step back, down dog. Look forward, bring your feet to your hands, as few or as many steps as it takes. Folding over the legs. Walk your fingertips over to the left. Mine are coming off of the yoga mat. I'm stretching my right hand a little bit further away. And then try to press equally into both feet. There's going to be some unevenness. Like you're trying to lose a race, walk hands back over through center, slow as you can, and walk them over to the outside of the right foot. Maybe left hand walks a little bit further. You can let the head drop. Maybe let the eyeballs look left and right to the corners of your eyes. Slowly walk hands back to center. Halfway lift. Squeeze shoulder blades together on your back. Hands come to your waist, elbows up towards the ceiling. Squeeze shoulder blades onto your back, armpits lift up towards the sky, and press up to standing. Walk your feet into touch. Go ahead, stretch your arms up overhead. Non-habitual grip with the hands. Bend the knees a little bit, like you're going into chair pose. Lengthen the spine. And then lean over to your right. With keeping knees bent. Hug the legs in towards each other like you've got one leg. Opening up across the left armpit, chest area. Back to center. Toning the abdominals as you lean to the other side. So as much as all the pieces of the back are connected, low back, upper back, neck, the front of the body is also. Go ahead, come back to center. Straighten the legs, separate the hands, heels up or down, swan dive, fold. Walk the feet away from one another. You're gonna love this one. Roll your yoga mat up again. For some of us, just a couple of times will be more than enough. I'm gonna roll my yoga mat about halfway. I'm gonna put the heels of my feet on the flat part of the mat and the balls of my feet on where it's rolled. Halfway lift, hands can come to shins if needed. Press into the balls of the feet on both sides and both sides of the heels. Fold. Let your hands rest on something, so even if it's your shins, you'll love this. Go ahead, see if you can lift the toes and the balls of the feet off of the roll. They might not come all the way off. Place them back down. Lift the heels up, balancing on the balls of the feet. Maybe that lets you fold a little bit deeper. You're being safe at home too. Heels come down. See if you can feel the toes and the balls of the feet up. Feel the calves work. Balls of the feet come down, heels lift up. Folding. Bring heels down. Let the head drop. Pressing equally into balls and heels of the feet. Walk your hands up your legs until you can come to standing. And then walk backwards on your heels a few times. Whoop. Maybe you fall out of it like I do. Walk forward on your heels a few times. Feeling silly yet? All right, go ahead. Lower all 10 toes down to the yoga mat. Stretch the arms up overhead. Keep toning the abdominals as you swan dive, arms out to the sides. Fold all the way down. Feel the outer shin muscles hug in the center. Widen the inner thighs. Walk your hands forward and your feet back to down dog. Lift your left leg up in the air behind you. Squeeze your left heel to your left glute. Keep the hips parallel, so it's like you're doing a quad stretch or a hamstring curl in the air. Keep the knee pointing away from you to start. And then rotate the hips like you did before, so the left foot is going to point towards the right side of your yoga mat. Let the right heel drop. Square the chest. Breathe. So now the heel moves away from the glutes a little bit. Look forward. Left foot by the left thumb. And then chest up, arms up, crescent lunge. If you want to release the back knee down, you can do that. Feel this right hip lift up high. Sink the left hip down. Hands come to prayer. Twist. If it's available to you, you're going to hook your right arm on the outside of the left thigh. If it's not, don't worry about it. Now, Press the right hip up, peel the left hip back. And keep trying to bend that left knee 90 degrees. From here, we're going to spin around to star pose. So turning towards your right, all 10 toes face the long edge of your yoga mat. Stretch the arms out. Left arm up, right arm down, lean to the right. If you want a little bit more of a core challenge, take some of the weight out of your right hand, maybe even stretch your right hand out to the right. Press into all four corners of your feet, both sides of the balls, both sides of the heels. Keep leaning. Let the left hand come down, swivel the right toes towards the back edge of your yoga mat. Warrior two. Right arm forward, left arm back. So connected to the thoracic spine, or the thoracic back area, are the shoulders. So externally rotate the shoulders, so armpits out, palms up. Squeeze your shoulder blades together on your back. And then see if you can keep this much openness, just flip the palms down. Straighten the right leg. Put a lot of weight on the left heel. So from left sit bone to left heel, whole left leg is working just as hard, if not harder than the right. Let your left arm go slack. Triangle pose with a slack left arm. I borrowed this from one of my teachers whose class I took over the weekend. Her name's Livia Cohen. So she runs applied psychology for yogis. Little plug. So the left arm is super droopy. Use your torso to rotate your chest towards the long edge of your yoga mat in front of you. So core rotates, belly, chest opens up. Move the right side of your torso more forward, left side of your torso more back. And then maybe you want to lift the left arm up. For traditional triangle, it can absolutely stay down. Soften the left ribs down towards the yoga mat. Broaden the collarbones. Go ahead, bend the right knee. Hands frame the front foot. Widen your feet left and right. So you have at least a hip's distance between the feet. Go ahead, step your right foot back to meet your left. Plank pose. Knees can come down for more support. Find those lid jars again. Rotating right hand to the right, left hand to the left. That motion starts at your shoulders. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up behind you. Squeeze right heel to right glute. You're trying to close the knee joint as much as possible. You can do this with the left leg down, left knee down, remember. Keep the squeeze, roll the right hip open, right hip on top of the left. Square the chest down to the yoga mat. You can start to move right heel away from the glutes, creating more of that like 90-degree bend in the right knee joint, but keep trying to square the chest down as the hips open up. You're breathing. Look forward, bring the right foot by the right thumb, left knee up or down, crescent lunge. Get really intentional about firming the left hamstrings. Hands come to heart center. Right hip down, left hip up. Pelvis neutral to start, so find that. And then start to hinge, left arm on the outside of the right leg. Twist. Keep lifting Left hip up high, sink right hip down deep. Just like you did in your triangle pose, rotate. Intentionally lifting the left leg up and star pose on your next breath. Whew. Arms out. Right arm up, left arm down, lean. Let the shoulders relax. If you want a little bit more, lift the left arm up. And maybe it only lifts up a little bit. Notice too, the low back here sometimes wants to get like a little wiggly. Can you find neutral? Even though your feet are on two different planes. Come back to center, wide-legged forward fold. If you have something to place your hands on, go for it. Like a yoga block or a bolster, your beach towel. Feel the feet hugging towards one another, widen the thighs side to side, and then walk the arms out forward like you're doing downward facing dog. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, press down and forward into your hands. Knit the low ribs in towards your navel. So you're removing some of the low back bend here. Melt the heart towards the ground. Walk your hands back in. Roll your chest up, turn your left toes to the left so you have left heel to right arch or right heel to left heel alignment. Right arm goes slack. And then hip hinge into your triangle. Left fingertips can come to shin, mat, or block. I have a tendency to hyperextend my left knee, so I'm going to bend it more than it probably needs to be. So with that right arm super loosey-goosey, start to roll torso open. Left side of the torso presses forward, right side presses back. Roll the right arm up if you like. Notice the right ribs want to pop up towards the ceiling and create some of that side bending shape. See if you can soften down towards the yoga mat. Wide wingspan, shoulder blades squeezing together. Active arm muscles. Warrior two, bend the left knee. Externally rotate the arms. Palms up towards the ceiling. And then just flip the hands down. Put more weight in the right leg than the left. Or at least equal weight. Find your breath. Windmill the arms to the top of the yoga mat. Step back, plank pose. And then go ahead, make your way onto your belly. So you can come through tricep push-up. If you want to sink the hips back to child's pose and slither forward, you can do that. Hands by your lowest ribs. Keep the head down to start. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift the fronts of your armpits up. Let the chest come up. Inner thighs squeeze together. Try to get those pinky toenails down to the yoga mat. Squeeze the legs so much that the upper back doesn't have to do that much to lift. From here, lift the legs up, stretch the arms forward, locust pose, and hold. Notice if the pinky toes want to point up towards the ceiling, keep drawing them down. Feel the inner thighs squeeze up towards the sky. Take breaks whenever you need it. Squeeze the hamstrings more than the glutes. Toes come down, hands by the low ribs. Baby cobra. Go ahead, lower down. Push back to child's pose. Notice what you feel the most in your body right now. No right or wrong, just noticing. And then make it more of an active child's pose. If you need more time to rest, stay there. Walk the hands out a little bit further. Come up onto your finger pads. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Feel armpits lift up. Just like down dog. And then, speaking of, come back to down dog. Walk the feet a little bit wider than your hips, so maybe to the edges of your yoga mat. You're going to press really firmly into the right arm. Come up onto your left finger pads. If that's enough for you, stay right there. Otherwise, lift the left arm up just maybe half an inch off your yoga mat and try to hold your down dog everywhere else. Breathe. Left hand down. Reposition yourself. And again, come up onto the right finger pad. So get really intentional and strong on the left, in the left arm. Hug the leg muscles to support you. And then maybe the right arm lifts up. Not super high, but enough so that you can feel a little engagement in the shoulder, upper back. Right hand comes down. Walk the feet in towards one another. And go ahead, come down onto your knees. All right. So from here, come to sit. I'm gonna grab a blanket to sit on. Some of you don't need the blanket. But if you have a hard time sitting up right without rounding the spine, then give yourself as much height as you need. Start with the hands behind you, fingertips facing the glutes. Broaden the collarbones. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. Press the chest up towards the sky. If this is already plenty of work for you, stay right here. Keep flexing the feet. Try to draw all 10 toes in line with one another, which will keep you kind of busy. You need a little bit more. You can flatten the hands down onto the yoga mat behind you and really press down, chest up. If you need even more, go ahead, stretch the arms up. Palms facing one another. Notice how much work that takes in the spine. All those back muscles. All right. Go ahead, swing your legs around. Come back to our friend Anjaneyasana. Left foot forward, right foot back. Squeeze the right hip forward a little bit. If this is plenty of sensation on your right quad, stay right here. If you need more, go ahead and watch your balance and squeeze the right heel towards the right glute. Left hand can rest on the left thigh, or you squeeze your ankle with both hands. Gently squeeze. This might be a place too where your body wants to accentuate that low back curve. Don't let it. Glutes forward, navel back, chest proud. This is gonna get exciting. So from here, try to keep your right heel as close as it is to your glute. Release the hands. You might get an immediate Charlie horse. If you Charlie horse, you can come out of it. Go ahead, release. Repeat. So we're stretching the front of the thigh, and we did some hamstring stretching earlier, now we're going to tone the hamstrings. Release hand or hands from the right foot. Try to squeeze right heel in as close as it will go. And release. I got a little bit of a cramp. Okay, go ahead, switch sides. Pause, don't worry about the sequence yet. Just situate yourself in this lunge. Get to a place where you can ground the right foot. Make sure you have enough padding under your left knee. I think I'm actually gonna pad this one a little bit extra. And then, if this is enough, stay here. If you need more, bring your foot to your glutes, to your left glute. If there's any knee pain here, back off. Think about pulling your pubic bone up towards your navel, chest proud, back long. If this is already taking a lot of work, you can stay here. Otherwise, try to keep the left heel in as close as it is. I'm going to be balance challenged, I can tell. And try to release the hands. So it should be a lot of work on the back of the left thigh. And release. If you need to give it a shake, give it a shake. Like a pound. And then go ahead. Bring left heel to left glute. If you're having a super hard time with this, traditionally in the yoga we teach today does not have a lot of hamstring strengthening or quad stretching. I would actually recommend popping into one of Steph's fusion classes because Pilates traditionally does a better job of it. And it's a bigger focus. All right, go ahead, release the left leg. So now you have some homework. Keep breathing. And relax. All right, downward facing dog. Knees as bent or as straight as you like them. Ooh, calves. Go ahead. Go ahead, come down. And then use your blanket or roll your yoga mat up to come onto your knees again. Kickstand your left foot behind you. Right foot comes down in line with the left knee. If you need a block or something under your left hand, go for it. So stay here. Go ahead and let the right arm come down in line with your waist. So start in neutral, not too much back bending. Go ahead, stretch arm up. Go ahead, lift the right leg up. Try to keep neutral in the spine. Go ahead, come back to hands and knees. Cushion the right knee. Right toes kick out behind you. Firm stance on the right hand. The left foot in line with the right knee. Start with the left arm down by your left side. Externally rotate the left arm, stretch the left arm up. Hug right shoulder blade up in towards your spine. As you press the hand down, you have a tendency to hyperextend your right elbow, soften it. Lean forward a little bit as you lift the left leg. So leaning in towards your right hand helps you glide a little bit. Left leg high, and then go ahead, come back. All right, repeat. And this time keep so you're coming from hands and knees, keep the left leg as it is. Step the right foot back, swivel the right heel down, right arm up. So this time, left knee to left heel are pretty much all in one line pointing towards my right foot, if you can't see me. And then do that glide forward towards the left hand, lift the right leg up. Kick right heel to right glute, catch it with your hand, open up across the chest. So you're creating this bowing action. Kick right foot away from you. And then go ahead, come back down. So, another good option for this, I'll come to this side. So what we just did was here, with like a big opening from hip to heel. If like a quad stretch works better, like we did in our kneeling, go for that. All right. Right hand down, right wrist in line with right knee, in line with right shin. Externally rotate the right arm, left heel down. Roll the chest open, so just like we did in triangle pose. Right side forward, left side back. Glide the heart forward over the right hand. Left heel to left glute. Hand wraps around the left ankle. And then turn this into a back, either a quad stretch or a back bending shape. Hug right shoulder blade up. Kick left foot away from you. And then go ahead, come back down. How are we at time? Great. All right. Go ahead, come down onto your belly. Airplane arms. So arms out in a T. Bend the right elbow up towards the ceiling. Come onto your right finger pads. Plug right upper arm bone, right head of the upper arm bone, so right shoulder in towards your spine, and then roll right hip on top of the left. Looking for a stretch in the left pecs. You need a little bit more. Bend the right knee like you're doing bridge pose. Right foot comes behind the left leg. Draw the pelvis forward, draw the chest back. And if this whole class you feel like, what the heck are all these cues? Stay on after, shoot me a message, and we'll discuss them. Keep plugging right elbow in towards the right shoulder. Unwind. And right arm out. Come onto your left finger pads. Squeeze shoulder blades together on your back. Roll left hip on top of right. Stay right here, or left foot can come behind the right leg. And if you start to lose the stretch, you can bring left hand a little bit closer to you and find that 90-degree bend in the left elbow again. Pelvis forward, chest proud. Feel your breath. unravel. Press yourself back to down dog. Feel this down dog versus how your first down dog of the class felt. Where is it the most sensacious, the most effortful, the softest, sleepiest? And go ahead, come down. So, let's do bridge pose. So, come down. I usually like no ponytails for this. Come down onto your back. If you feel like your low back is already a little bit noisy, if it's been talking to you for the hour, then stay right here. This is called constructive rest pose. Otherwise, let your arms come down to the yoga mat, palms face down, press into your shoulders, press into the skull, press into the big toes. Your middle fingers could at least graze the backs of your heels. So with your palms pressed down into the yoga mat, get really active in the arms, lift the hips up to bridge. Keep pressing down into the big toes, inner thighs squeezing towards one another. And then you're going to keep bringing the arms in closer to your midline. And just like we did in Warrior 2, all you're going to do is flip your palms up and keep pressing into the upper arms. Think about lifting, heart high, squeezing the heels back towards your chest. You can press softly into your skull. Come up onto your balls of the feet and lower down. All right, one more. If you feel like you want to do another bridge or you want to stay in your constructive rest, do that. If you feel like you have a full back bend in you, I'll guide you through that. So, for your full back bend, your hands are going to come back by your ears, fingertips facing towards your toes. So you can make robot arms and then just flip the hands back. Press into the big toes. Come to balance on the crown of your head. Squeeze the inner thighs in towards one another. Squeeze the shoulder blades in, elbows in, straighten the arms. Press and pump the heart back towards the wall you're looking at. You're breathing wherever you are. Come up onto the balls of your feet. Slowly, gently come back down. Just like we started, windshield wiper the legs a couple times. Come to cactus the arms. I know in my body right now, and I've been noticing it through the practice, like my toes and my calves are getting a little bit crampy. So I'm not going to judge that or beat myself up about it. Just going to take that as like maybe something I need to attend to either after this class or before my next yoga class. The legs come up to face, or the knees come up to face the ceiling, feet down. Take the heels of your hands into your hip creases. Press the thighs away from you, straighten out the elbows. Looking for a little traction in the spine. Maybe the pelvis lifts up a smidge, not too high. And then release and set up for your final relaxation. Notice the crown of the head. Eyelids. Ears. Nose. Jaw. Feel the shoulders. Feel your collarbones. Upper back. Ribs. Feel belly. Feel hips. Feel sit bones. Right thigh. Left thigh. Left knee. Right knee. Calves. Shins. Heels. Toes. Feel whole body. Feel whole body at rest. Take note here of how your whole body feels in this resting place. And if you need more time at rest, take it. And when you're ready, start to rock onto one side. And press into your hands to lift you up to seated. Thank you so much for taking an hour out of your day to take this aligned class with me. Namaste.